I'm responding in a way to a video I saw earlier, and I think a lot of people want remedy these days. And I think remedy comes from intellectual repair. That means realizing that education in itself does not denote intellect. It does not say that you are intelligent. And also, that education is driven by agenda these days. Coming out of Washington, D.C., expressly, people need to realize that Washington, D.C. is like a nation within a nation. We're the Republic of the United States of America. D.C. actually became its own nation, uh, I believe, once it was established in 1913 that the Federal Reserve Bank, a private bank, was taking over our treasury. That's when it was solidified that Washington, D.C. was going to be a nation within a nation. Now you can check this out. The City of London, the heart of London, is a nation within a nation. The Vatican is a nation within a nation. Washington, D.C. is a nation unto itself within our nation. Once they established their centralized banking, you can actually trace the infiltration, corruption, and subversion of what we were trying to establish as a nation and how we were going to be governed. It was very important to the sovereignty of each and every state within the nation to have its own judiciary, its own government structure, for checks and balances against a government that would try to centralize itself and become a totalitarianistic government. Also, once you go in and you start researching the TSA, the CIA, the FBI, whenever you see some of these alphabet organizations, they're all financed by the Federal Reserve Bank, a nation within a nation. So in effect, all of those governmental offices, what we call governmental offices, are actually subsidized private entities, subsidized with our tax dollars, funneled through the Federal Reserve System. Now, this is very important for the individual to know, simply because I have a website, not a website, but I have a Facebook page called We Are Change the Suit. And I lay it out there precisely. Once the nation of Washington, D.C. decided that they were going to manage the bankruptcy of the United States of America, the Republic of the United States of America, they started enumerating every asset in and on the land, and that included human individuals. We have been in a fascist system for probably over 100 years now. It's been about 100 years. And also, do you know the vote to discontinue the Fed's management of our treasury comes due in 2012? December 2012. We as a people in our nation need to rally, not in the streets, but in every single council, our local councils, our state councils. We need to be totally involved. The only person addressing this and knowing the facts that it's running for president is Dr. Ron Paul. Now, I followed this man for 8 years, and I've done due diligence in vetting this person. And he has never changed his stance. His voting record of 30 years, he has never changed it. He sides with the Constitution. And for those individuals that keep thinking the Constitution are negative rights, it isn't. The Constitution is not about rights. It's about how to defend people against tyrannical government. When you actually go through and read this document, it's what the government is not allowed to perpetrate against the citizenry. and that the citizens are sovereign. Now we go to the Bill of Rights, and that is what our Constitution is to protect. A lot of people are very simplistic in mind, you know. We won against the British in God knows what year. You know, when commanders on the ground make an agreement to cease fire, or in this case, the British yielded to the Americans and said, "You have won the battle." The King of England never acknowledged that the war was won. And that's important because those are only agents of the crown on the soil of the United States in those days. Do you think all the bad guys just went home? La-di-da, ha, we won, yay. No. There is always more than one way to wage war. I encourage you to read a book, The Art of War, because there is always more than one way. Right now we're in an economic war. They're doing this sort of economic roulette. But believe me, it's not just roulette. It's structured that way. I saw in my entire life small farmers put out of business, land that you would not imagine how much land is setting fallow for almost my entire life. Half my life, 25 years, fields not producing anything in America. Nothing. America has all the resources she needs. But what we don't have is a government that is operating within the law. The nation of Washington, D.C. is unlawful. It's operating under a central bank that has unlawful power. When you research 1913 that they passed this bill through, a lot of states never ratified the Federal Reserve Bank to take over. A lot. Many states never ratified it. In effect, everything that this centralized banking, this fascist system, the Federal Reserve Bank, has all been done unlawfully. Not only that, they curtailed Wall Street, which was to be a mechanism by which we would have open trade. They tore down all the regulations thereof. And a creeping fascism has been creating department after department after department in order to control everything. I subject to you that once you study all of this, there's only one conclusion I can draw: to so totally collapse the system by which they can introduce the New World Order. That's Gordon Brown, that's George Soros, that's, I mean, I'm not the only person saying this. George Bush Sr. announced the New World Order. And they're so sure of themselves that they're going to do this. And I say they can't. Not if we get involved. Not if we're in our councils. You know, anything should tell us right now, just in this debate process, all the voter fraud that's going on right now in the debates, unbelievable. So what does that tell me as a citizen? I'm failing to do my most basic duty. And do you know what that is? My most basic duty as a citizen is to be inside my local council, to be inside my state legislation, and beating the drum constantly and consistently. And there are processes to go by. And ladies and gentlemen, November is not that far away. We have got to secure the polling stations. We have to know where they are. We have to know by which way we're voting. We need to demand receipt of vote. We need to demand an open and monitored system for everyone's security. We need to demand that ID be taken and checked against the registry. Because what we're seeing is voters that have long since passed voting. Deceased voter registration. I mean, that should send up alarm bells in any society, that our most basic system is broken. And it's our duty to go in and demand of the persons we elected to do their duty to the voting system. Occupy Wall Street is one thing I've seen in Occupy Wall Street is a very scary thing. Agenda 21 consensus. Consensus is an Agenda 21 based uh, group. Basically, they're there to infiltrate and subvert and corrupt any movement that gets going. Any. So I really encourage people to look into it. Look into the fact that Washington, D.C. is actually a nation within a nation. And they're dictating to us, the people of the United States of America. And we need to stop it. And we need intellectual repair. And the remedy, go to my site, We Are Change The Suit on Facebook. We Are Change, one word, The Suit, two words. And look into this. I mean, I've never been sued. I may be arrested and detained indefinitely. I'm not laughing about that either. The one thing I fear the most about being detained is being tortured out of my belief. You can torture a person so much that they will crumple. And that frightens me because I don't want to be that person. I want to hang true to what I know is the truth, what I know is just, what I know is we're up against a system that is unlawful, corrupt, operating illegally, and in a way, bipartisanship has always been a game they've played with us. We'll put these people in now and those people in then, and this person will be president and that person. None of this is decided by our votes. This is decided by the nation of Washington, D.C., not by the Republic of the United States of America. I watched them collapse South America in my lifetime. I'm now seeing them collapse the entire Middle East in warfare. And I'm also seeing a financial attack. I also encourage you to see a film, In Time. In my opinion, this film with Justin Timberlake, In Time, is the New World Order. We will be assigned debt. And once we've worked that debt off, our time on earth is over. And you will have panels decide whether you're useful or not. And if you don't believe me, go and read some of these New Age, transhumanist, progressive, eugenics, their own words, they say how they want it. And it's very important for them to put it into words. They believe once it's written in stone, it will happen. And you could go look up the Georgia Guidestones. My goodness. When I first started looking at all this, I thought, maybe I'm a little crazy. Then I started getting on the internet, and a lot of people were calling me crazy, amongst other things. But I started running into other people who said, hey, have a look at this. Study that. Listen to this lecture. Read this book. The answers are out here if you're willing to open yourself up to it. If you're willing to open up to the fact you don't have charge of your life. And if you're comfortable with that, then you have to accept all of the circumstances. I myself am not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable at all with it. Anyway, this has gone on long enough. I just encourage you to study these facts and look into it. And if you don't think there's a problem, that there's a nation called Washington, D.C. that's running the Republic of the United States of America into the ground, so be it. But if you are an immigrant coming to America looking for freedom, you're better off going back the other direction, because you are not going to find it in the police state, this prison planet that is being built right now. This is the Fourth Reich. Read a book called The 5,000-Year Leap. Read The New Road to Serfdom. Read 1984. I mean, it's a perfect example of what our society is deteriorating into. Those that are going to claim to be our saviors are going to be our they're going to be our prison guards. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Everything here in Europe seems to be going. But how many years have I been saying that? As many years as others have said it. I listened to other programs, and they were saying Ireland's going down, Iceland will go down. Iceland has fought back, and that's an interesting study in itself. And that's the study we need to be pushing in Washington, D.C. by the Occupy Wall Street people. If they would study what Iceland has done in the courts and are willing to take this to world courts, we need it in the world courts. We as a human population have to wake up. We have to wake up and grow up, and we have to seek intellectual truths. Education is not intellect. Study someone else's agenda is not IQ. Probably why I was always dissed in school, because I was not interested in agenda-based education. So anyway, I'm having a huge bad hair day. I'm going to sign off. I hope that for all those people as well in the media, that they will actually realize the power that they wield. They need to be in our councils. We need to be getting groups together in our councils. Adam, Kokesh, you need to take those young men you're marching with in Washington, D.C., and you need to have them march into councils. As I said, we don't have very much time here. We don't have very much time at all. It's going to take time for these petitions in our councils to do what is right, to pressure them. November. That's only 5 months away, really. 5.5 months away. Every minute, we're burning in every minute here. Not only you, Adam, but I'm talking to Alex Jones. Alex, you need to be pumping people to get in their councils, not in front of the Federal Reserve Bank, who is a private bank. We need to go into our councils and start demanding. We need to be very involved with our voting process. It's wonderful to be out in number and protest. We need to be out on tax day. We need to, as a nation, I don't care what you are, Democrat, Republican, whatever. As a nation, we need to be in our capital on April the 15th. We need to be in there. We need to send a clear message from every state. Every state should be carrying their flag to Washington that day and saying, no more. We really need to do a lot. At least there's a lot of people wanting to do it. Anyway, that I'm sitting over here overseas, and I thought, well, what can I possibly do? I can actually study this and give my opinion, and maybe somebody else will give their opinion, and maybe somebody else will add to the conversation, and maybe somebody else will actually attend those councils I can't attend. Believe me, I'm on this soapbox with everyone I know and my family as well. If we as citizens fail in our most basic duty to ourselves, what do we expect from the system? What do we expect? A fair system? A just system? I don't think so. We're the check and balances, and it starts from the bottom up. Secure the vote. Get in your councils. We have 5.5 months left. See you guys later.